Alrighty, so we've found a donor car to get the parts we need to finish this guy. So it's the same year WRX. We've already got all the interior out, most of it anyway. We've got it back into the car to fix. It's a really nice, clean interior. We got the rear deck in there, which was all chopped up. Some nice fresh carpet. We got the HVAC controls back in, which this didn't have working. Again, nice, clean, tidy seats. So that is some good progress. And then this car will provide all the rest of the parts needed, which are hubs, control arms, the entire front end, a couple other little things here and there. And on top of that, it was great. This is a driving WRX. We bought it yesterday, drove it home yesterday. Drives really nice, so it will have lots of leftover good parts to fix some other cars, like a good motor and all sorts of other good body panels. So we're pretty excited about that. Okay, we are back in the shop because everybody's social distancing and there's nothing else to do. So we're staying a far distance away from each other.
Don't come near me.
Exactly. But to keep ourselves entertained, I have stripped my parts car. This was a complete running and driving WRX. We ended up driving it home like 40 kilometers. It drove pretty good.
It was aight.
It was automatic, which is why it became a parts car. Because for an Ontario WRX, it still had most of its rocker panels. That's rare.
Very rare.
Yeah, not that it was clean by any means, like the quarters were kind of shitty. But like SUV savorable, I guess. But it was automatic, so it was garbage. We got the whole car stripped, except for the automatic transmission and one bad CV shaft. This whole rear subframe, suspension, everything other than the rear diff is going to be going into that one over there. The engine from this guy, which is this guy, is going to be going into a different WRX. Some more parts for that one. Front fenders, a trunk, a wingless trunk. That I bought separate. That will be going on that, so I could keep my STI wing. Front spindles that are going to go on that, along with the suspension and brakes, because I'm keeping the Brembos and the coilovers. But yeah, lots of things. The door cards are off. You saw most of the interior is in that now. Then I realized that when I put that in, I'm going to have to run the parking brake cables inside of that. So I get to remove the center console and the back seat again. But it's alright. But yeah, progress is happening.
It's fucking happening, bro.
I feel bad for this car, but a lot of parts are going to keep a lot of other Subarus on the road. I even sold the back window out of it. From now on, when I sell back windows, I'm going to charge more because they suck to remove. Okay, well, because we're in quarantine, this has become the quarantine build. And as you can see, the front end, it all lines up nice. It's not really bolted on yet, but yeah. All the accident damage, you can barely even tell it was repainted other than the fact that it's nice. And now we're on the parting out stage where I take everything I want. So I took the coilovers, I got the STI axle shafts out, I still got to get the 6-speed out. But yeah, got all the Brembos off. I'm going to be putting the NVIDIA downpipe back on it.
The guy that's buying this car has a catback to put on it, and I'm going to be keeping the NVIDIA catback for mine. Keeping the Cobb cold air intake, Mishimoto rad, has what, Fortunato 500 coilovers. The jumbo top mount intercooler will be going back on it, just because I hate dealing with those things, so I'd rather just sell it with the car. Oh yeah, it had a differential skid plate, all sorts of goodies. I still got to get the rear coilovers out. Of course, first thing I did was put the interior in it. Now I got to pull the back seats out so I can get the coilovers out, because I didn't think that through. And then I got to pull the center console back out so I can get the parking cables back out. Because it's just easier to take the parking cables out with the spindles. Then I got to get the rear diff out. This carbon fiber diffuser is just going to stay with the car. But yes, progress is happening. After all of the driveline and everything is put back in it, like the 5-speed stuff, then I'm going to do the rocker panels and prep the fenders. Oh yeah, it's got a wingless trunk now. That also has to be painted. I'll be keeping these wheels, putting, I think, those Steelies on it that were off of the parts car. And then these will be for my Hawkeye, along with a sweet set of tires I picked up off of Facebook Marketplace, because I'm cheap. But yeah, while I do all this, Jesse's making progress on this.
Yeah!
Yeah, for the first time in a long time. And we're back. About 4 hours later, the 6-speed's out, the R180 diff is out, whole bunch of other things. Okay. Guess I'll show you what else we got. The rear subframe is out because I'll just end up using that whole complete unit way over there. Underneath, it does not look too bad. Everywhere where there is rust, I am just gonna wire brush it, spray it with some rust converter, and try to slow it down. What else? See, the up pipe has a crack, so I'm gonna have to weld that. But overall, no real big surprises, except I was hoping the clutch would still be good. Holy fuck, it's not. Look at that. All the heat marks. So, I was gonna try to be cheap and reuse the clutch on my Hawkeye, but I'm also lazy and I don't want to have to replace it again soon. So, I'm gonna order a new clutch. I'm gonna have some rust to fix on this guy. People gotta stop jacking their shit. Okay, so now on to some reassembly. I gotta try to get this subframe, I got the diff in it, axles and everything, to go up there. Or actually I'm gonna make the up there go down there. It seems like the easier method. I think it's kind of lined up. So in theory, that'll go straight down onto there. Okay. So that's almost close enough down there to attach the subframe to the unibody, but I did get the struts lined up and in on both sides. I only tightened one of the screws down, that's enough to hold it for now. Next, I think this side's a little bit closer. Yeah, so I'm gonna start by putting the subframe bolts. They go through these bushings into the unibody up there. So I'm gonna do that. Then I can lift the car up, connect the trailing arms to the spindle, and continue putting things together. Still gotta connect the sway bar to that bracket and all sorts of good things. Okay, after a little bit of maneuvering, I was able to get the bolts in the bottom of the subframe. So in theory, when I lift this up, it should all go up in one piece. And there we go. The diff is installed, kind of. The brakes are in, kind of, and the struts are kind of in. Everything is still loose, but that is probably the easiest way to put all these in instead of doing like the subframe and the control arms and everything else separate. Normally, you can just unbolt these from here. That way you could take the trailing arm down with it as well. But if you live in Ontario or anywhere where they salt the roads as much as they do here, these are going to end up being seized into the nut that's welded inside the body. And that weld is going to break, and then you're going to have to cut a hole in your floor under the seat to put a wrench on it or something to hold it. So always avoid touching those bolts unless you absolutely have to. But yeah, that wasn't too bad. Oh shit, look at that progress. Brand new parts instead of used parts off of something else. So I got the front brakes on. Took the front bumper off because I sold it. I make good choices. So I went in the back and picked that bumper off, which I got off of someone else. The dude specifically wanted the silver that was on here, not that silver. And since I'm
01G.
He wanted 01G silver. I didn't realize there was a difference in silver. But that's the kind of warranty we offer here. Yeah, so now this bumper is going to go on there. The rear subframe, brakes, suspension, everything is all in. I had to make a little bit of a brake line union there.
Well, you had to redo something.
I had to redo someone's union because they made the union using weird non-metric sizes, and I just got upset, cut out their work, and did my own. So that was on both sides. And if anyone knows me, they know I absolutely love flaring brake lines. So there was only minimal swearing. But yeah, interior's done, suspension is done, brakes other than bleeding are done, engine work other than the cold air intake is done, drive line, everything other than the drive shaft is done, and still got to change all the fluids, then body work, rocker panels, paint, and then it's done.
Yeah. I've quarantined myself outside of it now because it's not fun being inside of it.
Yeah. Basically, when you see a quarantine hut like this in the shop, you know it's a lot of grinding and sandblasting.
Yeah.
And that's all like tedious, not very fun work.
Yeah. Oh shit.
But yeah, I like the way that rad support turned out. And damn, those are clean headlights.
Fucking magnificent.
They're dusty, but clean. Okay, thought I'd do an action shot of some brake bleeding. We got Jesse in the car there texting and braking. Then this is the last wheel. I'll show you guys the way we do it. First of all, you need your Gatorade bottle with a clear rubber hose going inside of it. The clear rubber hose, that way you can see any bubbles that come out. You don't need this rig, but if you don't use it, you're just going to get a lot of brake fluid splashing all over the place. And that's not good for your mint paint job. So, Jesse's in the car. He's going to push the brake pedal down. Crack the bleeder screw. Fluid comes out. Close it. Then up. Down. Down. Up. Up. Down. Down. Up. Up. Down. Down. Up. Up. Down. Down. Up. Up. Down. Down. Okay, Okay, so the last few, there was no more air bubbles coming out. Snug up the bleeder screw, take that thing off. How did the brakes feel?
They feel good.
Got a nice pedal on there.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. So that's pretty much how we do it. We always start at the one furthest away from the master and work our way up. Make sure you keep that always full of fluid, because if you run that out of fluid, then you're gonna have a bad time.
Okay, I'm holding on the brake pedal and it's not going down.
Perfect. I'll do a walk around after, make sure nothing looks like it's leaking.
Fantastic.
None of my mint brake lines and all the hoses and everywhere we reconnected things.
They're hosers.
Friggin' hosers, eh? So yeah, now Jesse's gonna head out to Canadian Tire to do a pickup of stuff.
Some goose.
Yeah, because now you gotta call in or order online, and then you gotta pick them up when they tell you it's ready, and you can't go in the store. I am so disappointed in the Chinese government for ruining my summer.
Yeah.
I bought these wheels. I looked at one and said, aight. Hopefully the rest are matching.
Yeah.
Should be fine. But yeah, some more progress, and I'll show you what it looks like with some wheels. Peace out.